going on, Timmer?
Hey, Cloudy.
Welcome to the 3BeerPod.
Got me mid-sip on that one, buddy.
Yes, get it in you. Tonight, Season 4, Episode 11. It is the 3BeerPod. We're going to talk to Troy from Great Lakes Brewery. I'm looking forward to this conversation as we're nearing the end, Timmer, of Season 4. As we do, I don't even know where we came up with this, but we do 12 episodes in a season. And we've got a guest book for the final episode. We've got a guest book for the debut episode. And there's a couple in standby. We've never been so busy.
Buddy, we are all over this right now. We've never been this planned ever. It's fantastic.
Jimmy's joining us here tonight. A Mill Street Stout in my glass. Yeah, Tipper back here tonight. Welcome to the 3BeerPod. It is episode 11, season 4. Timmer, let's see if this works here. We got to get to our sponsors to get this started tonight. How's this working?
Loving the new music, buddy. Check out Shauna over at the Health House CK and our friend Chris McLeod at Realty House. Looking to buy or sell? Give Chris a call. And of course, our friends at the Pakistan Super League. Just want to be friends.
It's not working out so far over the Pakistan Super League. Michelle's joining us here tonight too. No beer tonight, vodka. Okay, we'll let it pass this one time.
We'll let it go.
3BeerPod. Tim, I got a pile of stuff here for the beer buzz, but let's hold off on that and pull in our guest because we want to do What You Drinking, Bud. And that's how we start off every podcast on What You Drinking, Bud. And tonight we're going to welcome in from Great Lakes Brewery. It is Troy Birch. Troy, good evening, buddy. How you doing?
Good evening, guys. How's it going?
Very good. Very good. We always start the pod off with What You Drinking, Bud, and we feature 3 beers. So let's start with you, Troy. You're from Great Lakes. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Canuck Pale Ale, our flagship brand. It's about 3 beers deep so far today.
Yes.
Oh, you're drinking the same thing. Nice. Yeah.
Get to it.
And I love this new can, the new look. Yep. The beers stayed the same, and it's the beer that runs through the bloodstreams of all of us here at Great Lakes.
That is awesome. That is awesome. So I'm actually just finishing up an Octopus Wants to Fight IPA, another classic.
Well done.
So we're going to get to all these, and we'll talk about these brands. But that one here, the Canuck Pale Ale, is next on the docket. And then I'm going to get into the Hanlon's Point Coconut Coffee Porter. I've been into the porters here recently, so I'm going to get into that here at some point. Now, I said to you, Troy, I sent you a message. I said, we got a good selection here. And then I ended up drinking like some of the staples at Great Lakes, which isn't a problem at all. But I know, Tim, you've got some other ones over there.
I do. I'm excited to crack out. I've had all these. Actually, I haven't had one. This is as far back as I can remember, the New England IPA. I've had this one. I am looking forward to diving back into that one tonight. Also, another
the Burst.
Really, juicy Burst here. The New England Pale Ale. I love this one too. And I haven't had this in a while, I don't think. So I'm going for it here tonight.
Yeah,
with the Robo Hop.
We call that one a sneaky bugger. You're going to drink that. You're going to drink it fast. It's going to go down nice and easy, and then you're going to try to stand up at the end of this, and something's going to be wrong with your knees.
I'm not sure which one I want to go with first now.
If you're asking me, I would recommend starting with the Burst, going to as far back, and going up to the RoboHop.
Yeah, that's fair. I thought I would just get at her here, but okay. I'll start in the proper order here. That's good stuff.
Hey, we got Joel just commented, tuned in last week when we were talking to Imperial City out of Sarnia. Loved the show last week, so he's tuning in again this week. Joel, thanks for tuning in. Let's back up to a little conversation. Let's go back a couple episodes, Troy. We had talked, wanted to get you on, and we've been working to get you on here for the last little while. But then we had Chris Hadfield, the astronaut Chris Hadfield, and he was drinking. So we've told the story a couple times. So just like you did there, Troy, you're ready to jump on. We can see you in the background. And then Hadfield disappears. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, where's the astronaut? Like, we've been waiting for this guy. Let's talk to him. And he disappears. And he sends us a message, which in the back end we can see. And the message says, going to get a beer. He comes back, and the beer he has is a Great Lakes Brewery beer. Like, how cool was that to see that Chris Hadfield was drinking one of your beers?
Very cool. I think, I reached out right away to see, can I get a contact info? And so we're sending them, thanks to you guys, we're sending them some beer on Thursday. we're releasing Thruston IPA, which is our I don't even know our astronaut beer. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's going to Chris on Commander Hatfield on Thursday, and so we've had connection, and he's looking forward to it. And yeah, it was just a great synergy to listen to the show, to see that, and then to touch base, and all within the span of a couple days.
Yeah, that was really, really cool. Great Lakes Brewery has been around for 34. Am I right with that? 34 years. 34 years now. Family owned, fiercely family owned. Like what is your sell line here? Fiercely independent, owned and operated brewery. Yeah. That's something you guys grasp onto and hold on to, eh?
There's like three things we always talk about when it comes to Great Lakes. If you define who we are, it's fiercely independent. It is, we believe in fresh craft beer, and we brew for you, Ontario. And the brewed for you, Ontario, all stems from we focus on our backyard. 99% of all the beer that we produce here in Etobicoke stays in the province. And what we mean by that is it's sold in the province. We're not exporting to the U.S. market. We're not exporting to international. We have some outposts in BC, Alberta, and Nova Scotia, but it's very, very small. We like to control where the beer goes, when it goes, and who it goes to. And so when we say brewed for you, it really means here in Ontario. And then freshness, it's part and parcel with that. We know where the beer is going. We know how it's stored. Our reps can get out to all points of Ontario. And at the end of the day, yes, we're fiercely independent. We're not going anywhere. It's owned by Peter Bullitt, one guy. And he has no plans to get out of this business. He's having too much fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Tim, did you just have your hand up there? Sorry, bud.
No, I was just drinking a beer, buddy, but I'll go for it. So those three things obviously have what kept you around for this long. What keeps it fresh though? You guys are not, you have your staple beers, but what keeps it fresh for everyone coming back to Great Lakes?
Yeah, it's the whole industry's changed so much. I've been in the industry. I've been with Great Lakes for 9 years, but I've been in the industry for about 13 years. And in that 13 years, things have changed dramatically. Great Lakes really became, I wouldn't say a household name until 2012. It was 2006 when the big moment happened at Great Lakes where they produced Devil's Pale Ale 666. And they did that as a one-off beer for the Toronto Festival of Beer. And it was so popular that they sold like 300 t-shirts, and they just did this on a whim, 300 t-shirts at this festival. And people were like, where can we get, like, they haven't experienced this kind of big, robust, West Coast dark ale in Ontario. And that started the trend for Great Lakes of, not the trend, but it started the new age of how can we use hops to our benefit? How can we differ from, English and Ontario pale ales at the time? And fast forward to 2010, Canuck Pale Ale was born for the Vancouver Winter Olympics, rebranded in 2011 as Crazy Canuck. And then 2012, our 25th anniversary, was when things kind of just skyrocketed. All these new brands, a whole new look. Gordy Levesque was introduced in 2014 as the Canuck Pale Ale, just over my shoulder there, the old look that way. Sir Fuggle Double Bottom Pompous Ass. Octopus Wants to Fight in 2015. And so we just started giving our brands some character. But how do we stay fresh? Going back to the original question, is we invested in a pilot system way back in 2006. So those original beers that I just mentioned, were all pilot system beers. And if anyone's ever read Malcolm Gladwell, and he talks about the 10,000 hours to make you a pro, Mike Lackey, our brewing operations manager, pretty much lived by our little 50 to 70 liter brew house.
Wow.
Brewing 3 times a day, 5 days a week, perfecting his craft. And then we eventually in 2017 bought an actual 7-barrel fermenter, which allowed us to scale up and do these one-offs on a grander scale. And so today, every week during COVID, essentially, we've launched 4 new beers a week, essentially. anywhere from an English IPA, English Pale Ale, to German lagers, to New England IPAs. If you look at our website right now, we have, I think, 30 beers available in our retail store and our online shop, and they run the gamut of styles. So you can get everything. You can get a German alt beer, a German Pilsner. You can get an English mild, a session stout. You name it, we got it pretty much.
That's wild. If somebody's saying, okay, Great Lakes, I maybe seen on the shelf, but I'm not sure. What do you say? Give this a try and introduce yourself to Great Lakes.
Which beer?
Yeah,
Canuck Pale Ale for sure.
Yeah.
Here at the retail store, we might go a little different than what we would do out in the market. Here at the retail store, we'd say, I'm just gonna reach over for a can. I'd say Great Lakes Lager. Great Lakes Lager, which is, we just introduced it to the new year-round brand. It's not at the LCBO yet. It's coming in May. But that's a beer. It's a great gateway beer. So we're still to this day getting people coming in to our establishment in South Etobicoke and say, "What do you got that tastes like, this kind of beer that we all know what we're talking about?" But and we'd say, "Here, this is nothing like it, but it's something like it." And so they'll try it and say, "Yeah, it's a good beer," and we got them. When we go out to the market, we'll say Canuck Pale Ale. And the reason we say Canuck is because for all the flavor, for all the aromatic, for all the body that you get in it, it's just such a drinkable beer. It finishes so dry. So when we were going to the pubs, do you remember pubs, going to a pub and sitting at the end of the bar? Yeah,
I heard about it. Yeah, it was good times.
I cut my teeth at Great Lakes being a sales rep, and you'd go into a bar that had Canuck Pale Ale on tap, and you'd sit at the end of the bar, and you'd just watch people drink one, and it never left their hand. They would take a drink, put it down, but they were holding the glass. For the LCBO, we want people to pick up the can, turn it around after looking at the label, turn it around, and if they get through the first paragraph, we think that will be a purchase, because people will laugh at the first line. It's been said that Canada is the only country in the world that knows how to live with an identity. True. This beer doesn't help much with that. So now we're hooked. You got to finish the story. You got to read the rest. Yeah. From the fiercely irresponsible and stereotypical image on the front of the can to the distinctly American-style beer inside, we've really made a mess of things. What have we done? We're sorry. And so that's the reaction we want. 100%. Someone's in an LCBO aisle or a grocery store aisle, they take the beer home, and within 3 sips, we think we can get them. Because that third sip is going to be, this beer has got all those, it's got like that grapefruit and peach, pine, but at the same time, it's so light and refreshing. And it's 5.2%. It's just a nice, well-rounded. This is called what we call an everyday beer here at Great Lakes.
We call that, Troy, crushable. That's crushable.
There we go.
It's a crushable beer.
I've been using that term a lot more during COVID than ever before.
Troy, you're the marketing and communications manager. So when you talk about that little story in the back, it's got the hawk and the imaging of the cans. Is that your work? Is that your team? Who's doing those stories? Who's writing that up? Where's that all come from?
So on this beer in particular, that comes from Mike Lackey. So this write-up goes back to 2014. So one of the great things about Great Lakes is everyone's a marketer. I might be the marketing and communications manager, which just means I control the message going out of the brewery. But anyone in the brewery, doesn't matter where you work, you might come up with an idea, a name of a beer, a write-up for the back of the can. So we had a beer that came out a couple summers ago called Caught in the Rain. I hated the idea, but it made its way anyway. It was a pina colada white stout. And so the name Caught in the Rain based on the song. And at the time, our events and partnerships, external events and partnerships manager, he wrote the write-up. He came up with the name. And so we're pretty fluid at Great Lakes. When it comes to labels, there's our marketing department consists of 2 people, myself and our art director, Fabian Skidmore, who's one of the most talented people I know. And he just joined us full-time in November. Again, 34-year-old brewery. We didn't have an art director until
Wow.
a full-time art director until whatever it was 5 months ago. But he does all of the write-ups now on most of the cans. He does all of the graphic design on all of the cans. Right behind me, you'll see Haze Mama. We launched that beer in during the pandemic. From the direction of the graphics, the art, the write-up, not the name, but everything else, that was right there. That was Fabian Skidmore. So we have a very talented team of people that are just really passionate about beer, and they bring a lot to the table. But they bring a lot to the table on every style that we create.
I think it's neat. We've talked, and our story's always been good people, good beer, good stories, right? And that's the one thing about these breweries, that there's a good story. Despite the fact you've been around for 34 years, you still got Peter Bullitt at the top. And I'm assuming you could walk down the hall and go, "Hey, Peter, I have an idea," and just throw it out there. That's your connection to the top of the food chain, basically.
So right now, my office, if I throw a ball, which I do, I'll throw it at his wall if I want his attention. And so we have a great dynamic. He is an open door owner. He's here all the time. If he's not in his office, he's down on the floor fixing something in the brew house or in the packaging department. So his father bought the brewery in 1991, moved it to present day Etobicoke in 1992. Peter took over the day-to-day around 2007, 2008, and then he took over the control of the brewery from the family in 2014. Just to open it up to his ideas, and he wanted to just have his mark on the business. And I gotta tell you, he's one of the best bosses I've ever had. And our retention rate here at the brewery is so high because he's a guy who is as hands-on as he is. He's hands-off. He believes in developing talent and leaving people alone to grow, but he'll come down hard on you if there's something that he sees you doing that he doesn't agree with at the end of the day. But great guy, great boss, and if we bring an idea to him, he's all ears for it because he trusts the people that work for him.
What do you got there, Timmer?
The news came out a couple months ago. You guys are expanding to a brew pub kind of downtown Toronto. What's that story kind of look like now, even through all of the gray area that you guys are still in lockdown and red and color scheme? What's this look like for you guys moving forward? Why did you guys make that jump to the brew pub downtown?
What we say internally scares the shit out of us, but that's just a joke. We're really looking forward to it. We really are. Right. We signed the lease back in 2018. The area of Toronto that we're going to is an up-and-coming neighborhood. Mm-hmm. And you hear that all the time in Toronto. Danforth East is an up-and-coming neighborhood. Roncesvalles is up-and-coming. But this area has been predominantly underdeveloped for 100 years. There's the Toronto Star building. There's the LCBO headquarters. There's a massive Loblaws. There's Chorus building, which has got Q107, 102.1 The Edge. It's got a couple colleges, George Brown and the Université de Francais, or La Francais. There's OCAD down there. There's a lot down there, but there's no authentic pub, no real neighborhood community hangout. So when we were looking at places, and this has been a lifelong goal of Peter Bullitt's, to open a bar, to open a pub, to open a brew pub, tie everything together. We looked at, I think I went on about 20 expeditions with him and the team, but he's looked well over 50 different locations around the GTA. We looked at a couple farms to do a farm brew pub. But this development came to us through a third party, and when Peter looked at it, it has pretty much everything he always wanted. It's got an up-and-coming neighborhood, like I mentioned. It's got good bones around, and it's a complete new build-out. So Daniels is the landlord. They're the developers. We're going into the space, and we have 4 units, so 6,000 square foot brew pub. We're going to have a 7-barrel brew house in there, which is a very healthy size for a brew pub. We're gonna have about 20 taps. It's not right on the water, but it's just north of the water. We're gonna have 2 patios, a big retail footprint. We're really excited, and especially me. I live in the east end of Toronto, so I'm really looking forward to a shorter commute to work. But all the renderings, all the art, we're really excited to make our stamp in the east, or put our stamp on the east. And it's gonna be something pretty special. When you think of downtown Toronto, and you guys aren't from downtown Toronto, but when you think of downtown Toronto, a lot of people think of it's going to be, the Edison bulbs, and it's going to be a lot of different woods and tiles. And we really want to make it a very comfortable, welcoming Great Lakes vibe. Lots of colors, lots of art, but just a place that's as fun as coming to Great Lakes Brewery. More nuts and bolts. We're not going to get that spit and polish like you see at some places. We're real people doing real things, working really hard just to produce really great beer. And at the end of the day, it's just like right now. I told you guys before we started, it's been a hell of a day here at Great Lakes. Right. And I look forward to just sitting down and having a beer. It's going to be the same mentality down at the brew pub where people can just come and literally chill, have good beer, made on site, and have amazing food. We're going to have a really good food program at the brew pub.
Well, if you ever want to expand that footprint, you've got a real estate agent if you need one.
Yeah, there we go.
I can help you out. I'd love to help you out. I want to get back to the cans, the names of the beer. Like Octopus Wants to Fight. Whoops, I'm going to spill it all over this. Octopus Wants to Fight. Like, where's that come from? Where does Hanlon's Point? Like, where Pompous Ass? Like you said, anybody on the floor from up in the offices that come up with these names, but where do these come from?
So I'm going to talk about Hanlon's Point because that's my name. And I'll tell you the backstory on that because like everything in life that turns out really well, a lot of times it's a fluke. So back in 2015, we had Karma Citra, and it was a big brand for us. It was Citra hops. And if you read the back of a Citra can, it's all like, all hail Citra. When news was coming to Ontario, we grabbed as much as we could because it was a sacred hop. You couldn't get your hands on it. Well, we had that beer and we did it in 500 ml bottles or 650 ml bottles. It's crazy now to think back in 2014, you're drinking an IPA in a big 650 ml bottle. So we did that, but it sold so fast and people fell in love with it. And so one day, this is a legit true story. This is not a marketing spin at all. Our brewer, Mike Lackey, gets a phone call at 4 a.m. From our head brewer, Callie, saying, "Hey, I'm brewing the Karma Citra, but we don't have Citra hops." And Lackey's like, "It's 4 a.m. What are you talking about? You're supposed to be brewing Red Leaf Lager." And he's like, "Oh, it's on the schedule for Karma Citra." So Lackey's like, "Oh, I'll be down there." He lives close to the brewery. So he gets in his car, drives down here and goes, "Oh, you are brewing Karma Citra." So he had the base malt recipe. So all the same malt for a big West Coast IPA. And like he says, this is an opportunity. This isn't a fuck up. This is an opportunity. Let's go out and use these new hops that I just got called Mosaic. They weren't a big thing in Ontario back in 2015, but let's use a whole bunch of these Mosaic hops. Let's create a brand new thing. All that's amazing. But Lackey doesn't tell anyone. He doesn't say, "Hey, we did this new beer. We need a new name. We need new art. We need new label. We need new everything."
Yeah.
So a week goes by, and he comes up to the office one day, and he says, "Hey, Troy. Hey, David. Hey, Fabian." Fabian at the time was doing kind of like on retainer, but he was in the office one day a week and happened to be there. So we're sitting in the office, and he goes, "We need a name for this new beer. It's got Mosaic." That's all I can tell you. And we need a label and a sticker and everything in 2 weeks. So we do what we normally do. We start drinking. We love everything stops. We get the big whiteboard out. We start putting down names. Nothing's sticking. Like he sprung this on us. We can't come up with it. That night I'm sitting at home and I run our social media. and I'm sitting on Twitter. Back then, Twitter was like the big one, right? And I'm sitting on Twitter, and someone's drinking RoboHop at a bar called the Victory Cafe, the old location on Markham Street here in Toronto. And they were drinking this big, back then it was 9.5%, and they were drinking it on tap, 20-ounce pint.
Oof.
Yes. And they took a picture from the bathroom saying it was a coat, on the back of a stall, saying "Drunk Octopus wants to fight me," and they tweeted it out at midnight. I took a screen grab, sent it to the team, and said, "I think we just got the new name for the beer." Long story short, everyone said that is exactly what we're looking. Perfect. Let's go with that. But we're gonna drop the Drunk Octopus. We're just gonna call it Octopus Wants to Fight. So we sent that to our art director, or now art director Fabian. He sent it to the illustrator, our old one, Garnet Gary. Within a week, they had the drawing. They had the name. We had the name. Mike Lackey wrote the write-up, and the rest is history. So that's how the brand evolution came on this beer.
Love it.
When it comes to Hanlon's Point, like a beer like Hanlon's Point, which is Gordy Levesque, which is the character on our Canuck label. If you look at the write-up came first. He was trying to go on a vacation, no passport, so he went to the Center Island, drank Mai Tais. So then we developed the art to go along with the write-up. And then it became, Hanlon's Point is a nude beach in Toronto. Let's just do that. And so coconut, sun, tropical, but it's not tropical. It's winter. So that's where it came up.
I love it.
Yeah. And like I said earlier, like Caught in the Rain or Pompous Ass, a lot of these names come from just different people within the brewery. They have an idea. They bring it forth. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we regroup and try again.
Troy Birch from Great Lakes Brewery. Tim, you pointed out something just before Troy jumped on. We were wondering about a marker on the cans. What was that, Tim?
The Tank 10. Tank 10? Yeah, the Tank 10 on the.
Yeah, here it
What's
is.
the difference between these two cans, I guess, is what I laid them out here.
So we have Tank 10, we have GLB.
Yep.
And if you give me a second here, we have 7 Barrel.
Okay.
And we have Project X, but Project X is pretty much dead. So
before you answer this, Troy, is your desk just full of beers to drink at any time? Like, can you just?
Well, some of them. Some of them I have a fridge in the other office, so I was going to ask you guys, how do I take a break and go get another beer?
That's funny. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. What was that? What do those mean?
So we have three. We actually have 4 series of beers here at the brewery. We have just this Great Lakes, and that means that's a year-round beer. You can get that all throughout the year, whether it be at the LCBO grocery or here in the retail store. And then we have the Tank 10, which means it's a big batch on our big system that goes into multiple tanks and multiple cans. It goes to the LCBO. It's a rotating one-off. So RoboHop as an example. So sorry, that as far back in the RoboHop and I believe the Hanlon's Point does have
the Burst is as well.
So the Burst, that's an old look. Yeah, it's gonna come out soon with the GLB because it's a year-round beer now.
Oh, nice. That's great.
So
that's a tasty beer.
The Tank 10 essentially means it's here and then it's gone. So throughout the year, we have brands like Karma Citra, Lake Effect, Hanlon's Point, RoboHop, Tango, Meanwhile Down on Moxie, Thrust and IPA, Shinny Pan Session Stout, and a couple more. And then we get into the 7 Barrel. And the 7 Barrel essentially means in 2017 for our 30th anniversary, we bought ourselves a 7 Barrel brew house and just said literally, hey, go brew whatever the hell you guys want. We'll just let us know what you're doing so we can get a label ready. And so that is 100% what it is. So today you'll see like beers like Monty Mild, which is our English style mild. If you look above me, you'll see a whole bunch of brands. You'll see Frühschoppen and Zwei Ziegen, Audrey Hopburn, Absacker. So our German lager series, everything that's done on our pilot system is called the 7-barrel series. And the 7-barrel series now is kind of evolved. We've got a bigger system. It's like 20 barrels now. The 7-barrel system is going to go down to the brew house in East Bayfront to the brew pub. Yeah. So those are the three. Then we have Then we have the seasonals, and there's only a couple now. We have the pumpkin ale. We used to have the winter ale, but now things like Hanlon's Point will become a seasonal. So we don't actually have a brand specific logo for them, but those are part of our seasonal beers that go out at certain times throughout the year.
Troy, I want to ask, as the marketing communications manager, how pissed are you that there's a Cleveland brewery called Great Lakes Brewing Company? Does that just piss you off, like they're stepping on your toes? Or has there ever been any confusion or contact with each brewery? Or you don't want to handle that one?
Yeah, okay. So we're aware of a Cleveland brewery. They're aware of us.
Right.
And we both prefer to work in our own markets.
I got you. I used to work in Hamilton at Y108, and I think I don't know if it was Pittsburgh or Cleveland had a Y108, and they used to call us to tell us we sucked. And I would say, that's not us. They suck. You just suck too. So it made me think of the two. Go ahead.
So without talking about them, we do get that still with a brewery called Lake of Bays in Baysville, Ontario.
Oh yeah.
And we get it both ways. Hey, we get a message from an LCBO saying, "Hey, your beer did really well." I'm like, that's not our beer. And then we'll get a message saying, "Hey, come pick up all this extra beer. It's not selling." It's like, that's not our beer. So I don't know. Maybe it's just like we have an out now. Oh no, that's not us.
That's not ours. That's fair.
That's funny. I don't want to take up more of your time. We've gone a long time, and we have to have you on again, or maybe we can get Peter on at some point, because I think it'd be great to continue this conversation. But the pandemic and how it's affected your brewery. I know that your location is right across from a location that was in the news November, December, that Adamson's barbecue. Is that what it was? Where they were protesting. So not only that, but like just the whole overall pandemic, how has it affected you?
Well, that's kind of two questions. Let's go. Let's go with the one that was down the road first. That really fucked things up for a week, and a little bit more, because we had a lot of beers. It was one of our biggest weeks. Let's put it that way. And he didn't know that. Right. But we had a 5 beer release week, and then we had a 5 beer release the next week.
Oh wow!
And I can't remember. There was something special about the beers that we were releasing on this particular day. But I just remember when he made the announcement going, shit.
Right.
Because it's going to screw things up down on this little industrial side street. And it did, because the first day we could tell the police were here, and the police were shut down the street. Because people were just parking. It didn't matter. They just parked anywhere. They parked in the middle of the road. They parked on. Wow. We had construction on the street as well, so they would park in front of a bulldozer. Bulldozer can't move. Bulldozer can't back up. Someone's parked behind that. We had Proud Boys and Rebel Media, like literally pissing on the street. Wow. It was a gong show. And then because we were wearing masks, making sure no one parked in our parking lot, we had the most vile comments thrown our way.
Wow.
We didn't say we supported them. We didn't say we didn't support them. But it was a nightmare. Our social media, my email, our Facebook comments, Google reviews, everything. People took us as we are not with them, so we are against them. And they let us know. It was a long 5 days. I took it really personally, because I love this brewery so much, and I love what we've done here in the community. But it was refreshing to have the community respond in turn. The people that were coming down here were not our community. They were coming from other parts of the province. And like I said, we had Proud Boys, we had neo-Nazis, we had some bad characters coming down here to this part of the neighborhood in South Etobicoke. And the media, I felt bad for the media because they were getting spit on, they were getting punched at. It was something that I would never wish upon my enemy to go through that experience. So that's one part of COVID. The other part of COVID has been when I say this with enthusiasm, it's been good because our home delivery service has been really it's picked up. People love the home delivery aspect of Grey Lakes. When we announced that we were going to be shutting down everything and moving to home delivery, because of all the work we put into supporting our community over 30 years, the community responded in turn.
Nice.
We don't do Ontario-wide delivery, which has pissed off a lot of people. We don't do delivery outside of Scarborough, and we don't do delivery outside of Hamilton and north of Vaughan, say, because as soon as we announced we're doing home delivery, we got slammed and we couldn't. There was no way we were running out of beer. But no matter how many times you say that to people, that we can't go across the province, we can't do we can't do Kitchener, Guelph, Waterloo, and London because we're using our own staff. We didn't want to let anyone go, so we're using our own, like the people that would sell the bars and restaurants and the people that would sell the LCBOs. They became delivery drivers, and to this day they still are. So it's been good in that regard. The community has really supported us, and the retail store from May to today, we've got a lot of our customers coming back to us, and we have safety protocols in place, and we have plexiglass and all that stuff, and we're really thankful and humbled that people have been with us and stood by us.
Troy, we actually, again, I did notes again, so we have tons of things to ask you. We could sit here for a while, but let's get you back on, or we can get you and Peter. We'll continue this conversation. This has been pretty cool. We appreciate you joining us here tonight, but thanks for jumping on tonight. Yeah, sorry, Timmer.
No, let's go one last question on what.
I'm good. I'm good to keep going unless you guys want to. I'm good.
I want to go again deeper. So, like, let's make 2 episodes.
Sure.
So, we're still going to keep drinking Great Lakes, and we're going to keep talking about it. So let's do another one in season 5. Let's save a little something back. But Timmer, before we go, what did you want to ask?
No, I was just going to ask the standard question of what else is Troy drinking other than Great Lakes. So obviously you might have a bit of a selection there at Great Lakes. We scroll through the catalog here online, and it's pretty intense. But if you're not going to crack a Great Lakes, what else are you reaching for in the fridge?
So I'm a homer. I will tell you, I'm a homer, and I drink a lot of Great Lakes. Yep. But I love Godspeed. I love the beers that Bim, my good friend Bim, is doing in Toronto East. I love his Czech style pilsners, his Czech style lagers. Yeah. I do like Anderson out of London. I love their beers there. It's hard because you want to be careful what you say to some of your friends, right? Like we have a lot of friends, and I have a lot of friends in this industry. And I'd love to drink everyone's beers, but at the end of the day, if I'm not drinking Great Lakes, I'm probably drinking a Godspeed at home, or Anderson's pretty good to us here. But at the same time, Amsterdam Brewery. Amsterdam Breweries, they're celebrating their 35th anniversary this year, and they're revisiting all these old classics that they've done. Ian McCoustra is a fantastic brewer, fantastic gentleman, and they're doing some amazing things for their 35th, and it's only going to get better. So thankfully, Ian and Mike Lackey are best friends, and so whatever Ian brews, we get some here at the brewery to test, and so we love the beers that are coming out of Amsterdam, especially their their 35th anniversary stuff.
Troy, this is awesome. Like I said, we want to get you back on again, and we'll certainly do that. Look up GreatLakesBeer.com. Troy, thank you very much. Good luck the rest of the pandemic. Let's get things opened up, and let's get over to that brew pub up in Toronto when we can get over there. When it opens, we can get over there. So thanks, Troy. Appreciate it, bud.
Well, cheers, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Troy Birch from Great Lakes Brewing, and that was pretty cool. Pretty cool there. Tim,
I love the octopus wants to fight story. When Cloudy's out.
I'll be right back.
I don't know. I'm not sure where Cloudy's going right now, but I'm loving it.
I spilt a beer halfway through that, so I've been holding on to a pile of mess here. Go on.
I got nothing. I think you tell us your story there, buddy. No, I love the again. It doesn't matter who we talk to, which brewer we talk to. Great stories as usual. I love the Octopus Wants to Fight story. One of my favorite beers, obviously coming out of Great Lakes, is Octopus Wants to Fight. I've always liked that, and can't wait to get back on the getting the breweries and brew pub scene. Great Lakes, whenever I've visited Toronto, I've always gone to that East End where he's kind of talked about, or gone to like Godspeed and Left Field. So I've never made it back this way to Etobicoke. Drove by Great Lakes tons of time on the Gardner coming in there, but never stopped in. So hopefully we get this shit under control here soon and these levels come down and we can go visit the brewery there, because they got, man, you scroll through this catalog, there is a ton of beer there, and I respect, I was thinking, man, I'd love to order some of these, and they're not delivering, and I get it. You're getting the support locally, roll with it,
and it stays fresh that way too. And you know what, we do have a great selection around here. I obviously picked up the basics, which is still cool, but you can get quite the selection too. So GreatLakesBeer.com, multiple brewery of the year from the Canadian Brewing Awards. They've won it many, many times. And like I said, Tim, we got lots of stuff, and we'll get Troy on again at some point just to follow what's going on, because we have there's tons of things we could talk. We literally could have been here for an hour and a half, but let's save it for another episode on the 3 Beer Pod. So thanks, Troy. Appreciate that. That's awesome. Tim, let's get this little beer buzz, some news in the beer world. I have a couple things I wanted to bring up here. This is cool. Bob Cajun is teamed up with the Peterborough Petes for a Pete's Lager.
Nice.
Look at that, the Peterborough Petes and the Ontario Hockey League, the first collab in the Ontario Hockey League. I thought that was pretty neat.
Where are we sitting with the Ontario Hockey League these days, buddy?
Hold on. Let me be a OHL insider for you.
Yeah. Oh.
News should be coming this week from my sources.
Right.
Saying that we should see some hockey at some point, but we should know more this week. Okay, so there you go.
Chris McLeod, OHL insider.
Mark it
Love
down.
it. Love
Peterborough Pete's, the Bob Cajun Pete's Lager, which is available right now in the Peterborough area. I thought that was pretty neat. Here's a story about a brewery in Virginia that got a Google comment, and they ran with it. So they have now released the brand, the beer, Your Manager is a Bitch beer.
That's fantastic. I love that too. That's amazing.
Somebody commented they wouldn't wear a mask in the brewery in where this brewery is. I don't know what brewery is it? Virginia. So they came up with a brown sugar pecan porter. And they named it Your Manager is a Bitch because that's what the comment was on Google.
I love that. So that's a slippery slope, though. Remember when we talked to the guys from Refined Fool, and they have in Refined Fool they have their Google reviews on the wall, and they're all just like the bad reviews, and then they're like, "Well, we just kept getting bad reviews because people wanted us to put the poster on the wall." So it's a slippery slope. I love the idea, though. Your manager's a bitch. Your
manager's a bitch, right there. Coors Light, Tim, down in the U.S. was taking some of your quarantine clutter off your hands. Since quarantine, because I've seen your garage.
It's coming, buddy. It's coming.
They say 43% of North Americans had done some comfort buying while in social isolation. And that's where, you buy stuff just because you're at home and you're searching, you just end up buying more stuff than you need.
I've definitely done that one.
So on Saturday, what they did in Atlanta and at a location in Nevada, they accepted donations of unwanted stuff. What they would do, they would then weigh all your stuff. If you donated 10 pounds, you got a 12 pack. If it was more than 10 pounds, you got a 30 pack. And then if you was over 20 pounds of stuff that you donated, was 30 packs of Coors Light. And then they gave it all to local charities. Quarantine clutter. So it wasn't bringing you joy anymore. They were
Can we talk to our local breweries here and see if I can bring them some clutter? And then they give me some silver bullets.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Isn't it? Let's try. Local breweries.
One more. Yeah, we'll see if that happens.
Okay.
One more story. Waterloo. Have we had Waterloo on? We haven't had Waterloo on, have we?
Like the whole city?
Well, no, the brewery, Waterloo Brewery.
No, we have not had Waterloo on. Great beer.
They're slashing prices on the beer it sells in Ontario to pubs and restaurants to help them battle through the pandemic. So basically, they're slashing the price down to the cost to pubs and restaurants, just because they've been battling, obviously, through the pandemic. So trying to help them out by cutting them a bit of a deal and bringing that price down on their beers.
I love it. I'm looking forward to a time when we can get out there and have some more beers.
Oh. For sure.
When Great Lakes was talking about their brew pub, I just want to go to Toronto and go to places that I haven't been in a while.
I want to go have beers with other people. No offense, Tim. I want to see other people when I drink.
Well, we have all of our listeners.
That's true. We're all gathered around.
We're all friends here.
Timber, we're going to do a round of decent or D-bag. This is where we give you a scenario or a story in the news, and then you have to weigh in. Is this person decent, or are they a giant D-bag? Tim, you've got the story today on decent or D-bag. What is the background on this one?
So I don't really have the full details on this, buddy, but I'll lay out the nuts and bolts here. Kylie Jenner donated $5,000 to a GoFundMe page for a former makeup artist that she was once involved with that was in a car accident, and donated $5,000 to the GoFundMe page. She took a lot of heat for only donating $5,000 to a GoFundMe page that was really just looking for $10,000. And she donated $5,000. And she took a lot of heat for donating that for the medical expenses of this makeup artist that was in a car accident. So the question is this decent, or is she a D-bag? Which on the surface sounds like she's pretty decent. But
you want to go first?
No, let's feel it, buddy.
I'm going to say Kylie, who is my favorite of all the Jenner sisters.
Really? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Can you name the Jenner sisters? Go.
Kylie.
Check.
Kim Kardashian.
Right.
Jennifer Kardashian.
That's a made-up one, I think.
Kanye Kardashian.
Khloe.
Kylie. Khloe. There's a younger sister. Yeah, I don't know.
Another one? Okay.
I can tell you right now, a little background. She's worth apparently $900 million. Okay.
Right.
That's what the internet says, and you can't doubt the internet. And according to the internet, that's 0.0006% of her worth is $5,000.
So the real question was, why didn't she just pay for all of the medical expenses of this makeup artist instead of reaching out to her fans to donate to a GoFundMe page?
I'm going to say F that. It's her money. I hate when people try to spend other people's money. It's hers. Let her. She's nice enough to get it out there. I say I'm going to be on Kylie like I always am, and I'm going to hear this. I'm on Kylie's side here.
Right. So here's what I'm going with. If she just donated $5,000, slid him, $5,000.
Yep.
And didn't say a word, there wouldn't have been a problem. But Kylie had to get on the social media.
Yep.
Take some Snapchats of herself donating the $5,000 and then encouraging her fans. The other side of this, who we might consider who the D-bag is the family was going for $10,000. when they got over 10 grand, and then Kylie put it on Instagram, I think they raised the amount that they were trying to raise.
Hold up. Reversing my decision. She's a D-bag. She's a D-bag. She did something nice, and then she had to post about it to pat herself on the back. Nothing pisses me off more than people on social media who can't do something nice, or just do something nice.
Right.
To stop looking for social media points. F
Why?
off. I hate that.
Why can you not do something nice for another human without putting it on social media?
Or
it is permitted. It is permitted. That is permitted. You can do that without telling other people you can do nice things for people.
Nothing pisses me off more than this look. Let me get my camera in here. Look at me. I donated $5,000. I hate that. Or look at me. Like, get your freaking face off Facebook.
Right. Just be nice to people. Give them some money. You don't actually need the recognition for it. Just do nice things for people. I'm going with they're all D-bags.
No, not all D-bags.
R.I.P. to the makeup artist. Oh, he didn't die. Never mind. He did. I don't think he's dead. No. He's not dead.
And that's Jenner talk for another week.
What was JT's comment there? I missed it. It was
Jennifer Kardashian is for sure a D-bag.
100%. 100%.
D-bag, 100%. Wanted to mention quick about the Krispy Kreme down in the U.S., the States. Do you see what they're doing? You get a free Krispy Kreme donut every single day if you can show proof that you've been vaccinated.
I love it. I love that. Can we do that here in Canada? Will Tim Hortons give me one Boston cream every day when I get vaccinated?
If they did
can we reach out to Doug Ford? He loves Tim Hortons. Maybe we can get one of those egg sandwiches he has.
Got to give Timmy's a good plug. The best thing you guys ever did is make those real egg sandwiches. I used to go eat those other ones. They're the best, those real egg sandwiches. So whoever did that at Timmy's, good for you.
The joy that the real egg sandwich brought to Doug Ford would make me want to get vaccinated even more than I already do.
I love that.
But if I got a free Timmy's egg sandwich, I would be happy as hell.
Love those Sammys. This woman loves donuts. This woman is getting herself a vaccine.
To stay off roadways unless absolutely, positively necessary.
I wanted donuts.
But they still came out to.
She would also get vaccinated. Oh no, hands down, she's getting vaccinated whenever she can.
For 3 years. Jeez.
Oh, and donuts.
Pre-vaccinated. Timmer.
Oh, buddy.
That's a pod. Oh, hey, I wanted to mention to you. I was watching. Have you watched Shameless yet on Netflix?
No, I don't watch TV.
Watch this. You'll like this show.
Okay.
Season 7, episode 3. I was just watching it over dinner tonight.
Write that
and there's
down.
a scene, and I'm like, there's some music, and I'm like, that's the Sheepdogs.
No.
That's got to be the Sheepdogs. I look it up. Season 7, episode 3, Home Sweet Homeless Shelter is Help Us All, Sheepdogs. They play 15 seconds of it. But
now it hit you though, didn't it? You knew.
But like when you hear something like that and you go, and you kind of tell yourself, you're like, oh, like, is that the Sheepdogs on an American show? And you do the Google search and it comes up. It's almost like you just fist pump. You're like, yeah, I knew that.
Yes, God.
I knew that.
2 things I'm missing right now, buddy. Drinking at breweries and live Sheepdogs. When those 2 things come back in my life, all will be good again.
You got to remember, though, Tim,
get vaccinated.
We're going to be a year and a half older than we were. Like, are we able to handle this?
I feel good, man. I think I've aged well during the pandemic.
All right. Well,
we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. Troy Birch from Great Lakes Beer. Thank you, Troy. That was
good dude.
A whole lot of fun. Great Lakes Brewery in Toronto. I loved how he dodged the question about Cleveland. I thought so because I was wondering what their connection was. Keep an eye out for the Great Lakes Brewery Brew Pub, which will open on East Bayfront in Toronto here, whenever they can get things put together. But it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool deal. And of course, Timmer, thanks to our sponsors.
Oh, Sean over at the healthhouse, ck.com. and Chris McLeod at Realty House. Check them out if you're looking to buy or sell. And of course, our old friends at the Pakistani Super League. We just want to be friends.
It's not working so far. See you guys, 3BeerPod this week.